How did you end up being in Jeffries?
I was living in Plett, serving as a missionary there, and things were not going all that great. And I started having dreams about a place I'd never seen before, with a really cool, like, ocean view, but also like a community. I could see the community. I could see the houses of regular other people that don't live in the community. But I didn't know where it was. I'd never seen it before. And over the course of about 3 weeks, I kept having that dream over and over and over again. Or it would be like slid into other dreams. But that scene, that image was always there. And then throughout that 3 weeks, I had 3 or 4 different random women at the church or where I was serving or whatever just spontaneously say, I think you need to go to Jbay. And I'd been to Jbay once or twice, but just to the factory shop with a friend of mine. So I hadn't really seen much of Jbay. So I borrowed a friend's car, didn't tell her where I was going, didn't tell anybody where I was going. And I just drove all the way to Jeffers Bay. And I was driving around town talking to God, and I was just like, okay, you brought me here, why am I here? What am I supposed to be seeing? Because I don't understand what's happening. And so I was just driving through random streets, just exploring, and came down this street, actually right over here, and saw what I had seen. I'd stopped at the 4-way stop there and saw exactly what I had been seeing in my dreams.
Sure.
And didn't know what to do with that. So I just drove to the beach and sat there, and I was like, okay, now what? I'm not a beach person, so I wasn't all that interested in coming to a beach town.
Yeah.
But I was like, I saw, particularly the community, was very vivid and very detailed in the dreams, and it was exactly what it looks like now. It wasn't even what it looked like then.
Sure.
It's now with all the extra shacks and things expanding. That's what I saw.
Sure.
But I saw enough of it, even with the industrial area and the houses, I saw enough to know that that was exactly what I had seen, just altered slightly. So wasn't really getting any answers sitting at the beach, so I started driving again, because that's usually how God and I communicate best, is when I'm driving. So ended up at Wimpy's to get Wi-Fi to tell the person whose car I had that I was going to be staying the rest of the day, and I bring her car back tomorrow.
Sure.
And while I was there, he just was flooding me with messages, and I just started writing them down. And by the end of the day, I had written 45 call-in responses, is what I call it, where I would ask him a question and he'd give me these answers. And so those messages actually ended up becoming that first book that you read. But all of that happened the day I came to visit Jbay, and in the course of that, I was like, okay, well, that was a fun day, now what? So I went back to Plett, and I was just really struggling to find where I was supposed to be serving, what I was supposed to be doing, why I was in Plett, because originally I'd gone to Plett to serve for a ministry. That ministry fell apart 3 months after I arrived.
Sure.
And yet I had to stay because I didn't have any other direction from him.
Sure.
So I came back, and the book thing exploded, and then I just felt like I couldn't get enough of this community. Like I just kept thinking about these homes and the people that must live there, and I couldn't get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And so I just started asking, am I supposed to be moving? Because nothing's happening here in Plett. Am I supposed to be moving to Jbay? And the answer basically was either one. One's going to hurt more, and one's going to be faster. Either one.
Sure.
And
What a choice.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, both these answers suck. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I didn't like either answer, but I knew when I came to South Africa that part of why I was coming was to deal with stuff I couldn't deal with in America.
Sure.
With him in particular, because I needed more of him than I could get access to in the life I was living in America.
Yeah.
And there was no way to change that without completely disrupting my life and saying, send me where you want to send me.
Yeah.
And so because I had made that declaration, that's a continuous declaration for me. He constantly reminds me, are you sure you want to go where I'm sending you? Yes, over and over and over again, to the point of this.
Yeah.
And so sitting there for months, I sat with this decision of Plett or Jbay, and it was, they're both going to hurt, one's going to take longer.
Mm.
So Jeffreys Bay had this pace to it in my head. And I had no information about Jeffreys Bay. I didn't know anything about this place.
Yeah.
But there was a pace to it that it was like, not only am I going to be serving more, I'm going to be healing more.
Okay.
And I needed that.
Yeah.
So it was just, that was the decision. It
Yeah.
was going to be faster, and it was going to be painful, but it was going to end up better, so I needed to go.
Yeah.
So went home, told my family, and then my friends packed me up while I was in the States, and they moved me.
Oh, wow. Somebody else moved you.
Somebody else moved me while I was
That's
in,
wonderful.
in the States fundraising so that I could come back.
Yeah.
And the book actually sold out in 2 months, enough money for me to move to Jbay.
Sure.
Yeah, covered everything.
Sure.
So, yeah,
So he gave you instruction and he gave you means.
he did, all in one day.
Yeah. That's so awesome.